rounds.
The thing about Usyk is, guys, he takes things seriously, right? Now, we saw Tyson Fury almost lose to Ngannou. That would have been embarrassing. He clearly didn't train for the fight, right? We saw Anthony Joshua go a bunch of rounds with Jake Paul. And, like, if it was Anthony Joshua fighting Verhoeven, I might say, let's see, it's Usyk, Mike. Yeah. It's Usyk.
Well, that'd be wild, wouldn't it? I think Rico's gonna have to boot him in leg or something. If he wants to get any sort of advantage over him, no one can beat Usyk in a boxing fight. I don't care who you are. No one on this planet. He's the best heavyweight on this planet, and he's the best heavyweight of his era. If guys like Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua can't put a dent in him, no one's going to be able to put a dent in him, I'm afraid. So yeah, Rico will have to throw a few leg kicks if he wants to get one over on him there. But again, Rico's a legend of kickboxing. Guys like that who have paved the way in kickboxing and have been the goats of their generation, they deserve to get these paydays and these sort of chances to showcase what they can do and just to promote themselves and to get some big money and stuff. So yeah.
The heavyweight champion of the world is fighting a kickboxer at the Pyramids of Giza, and the WBC title is on the line.
Yeah, I mean, look, Alex, you've been in so many big fights at this point. You had 2 fights with Tyson Fury, you fought in a stadium in Poland, you sold out Wembley Stadium. But what is it going to be like to fight at the Pyramids of Egypt? I mean, to me, it's going to be a crazy experience.
Yes, listen, it's crazy experience. You know, it's my collection. You know, it's a different country when I have fight.
I mean, when you were first told about that, what was your reaction? Like, hey, Alexander, you're going to fight at the Pyramids.
Oh, listen, I think, oh yes, it's a great idea because I never was Egypt, but it will be my first time.
Let that sink in for a second. Rico Verhoeven, a man with exactly 1 professional boxing match on his record, is getting a shot at the most technically gifted heavyweight on the planet. And people are losing their minds over it. Some are celebrating, some are furious. And the sanctioning bodies? Well, they're doing what they always do, following the money. But before we get into all of that, let's hear from the man himself, because Usyk's reaction to this fight tells you everything you need to know about who he is.
Alex, great to see you. I see your training as always. You're, one of the most disciplined fighters, if not the most disciplined, so that's why you're so great. But look, obviously there's a lot of talk about this next fight in Egypt at the Pyramids. I think it's going to be a crazy spectacle against Rico Verhoeven. What are you expecting?
Listen, Mike, I'm not expecting because I training.
When someone tried to frame this as a fun fight, tried to suggest Usyk might not be fully invested, Usyk shut that down immediately.
I know that you've been fighting, the best of the best, for some years now, but this fight is more like a fun fight, as the people would say. How do you stay motivated, or how do you motivate yourself to going into this fight?
For me, it's a real fight. Yes, Rico not a good boxer. But it's okay, fun fight, no problem.
No apologies, no games. The man treats every single fight like it's for his life. That's not a PR line, that's just Usyk. And then he said something even more revealing. He's already looking past Verhoeven. He wants the winner of Daniel Dubois versus Fabio Wardley next. He's watching that fight closely. He's planning. While everyone else is debating whether this fight should even exist, Usyk is 3 fights ahead in his head. That's the mind of a champion.
But I want a next fight with who winner? Daniel Dubois and maybe...
Now, Rico Verhoeven has been a lot quieter publicly, but let's be real about who this man is, because the boxing world has been disrespecting him, and that's not fair. Ariel Helwani made this point, and he's right. The MMA and kickboxing communities respect Rico. The boxing world has treated him like a complete unknown, and that's insulting. This is a man who has dominated glory kickboxing for over a decade, undefeated, reigning supreme for 10, 12 years. He's 6'5", 270 pounds of knockout power. Jonathan Haggerty, British kickboxing champion, 1 championship bantamweight world champion, put it perfectly. He's been a champion for years, undefeated. He's just a beast of a guy. He goes in there, demolishes people. And Haggerty knows this world. He lives in it. Rico's working with Peter Fury for this fight, a man he's known for years. He's not walking in blind, he's preparing properly. But Haggerty was also brutally honest. I don't think he's got a chance, really. Usyk's the best in the world for a reason. That's a kickboxing champion saying that about another kickboxing champion. That's how good Usyk is. So why is this fight happening? Let's break it down, because there are real reasons and they matter. Deontay Wilder isn't available, fighting in April. Fabio Wardley isn't available, fighting Dubois in May, same month. Moses Adamosa isn't available, fighting in March. And Agat Kabayel, the WBC mandatory challenger? Usyk hasn't fought since July. He needed a tune-up. He requested a voluntary defense from the WBC, which is completely customary, and they approved it. Kabayel himself went on record saying he's fine with it. He knows he's getting Usyk next. That's confirmed.
Fight in Egypt against the kickboxer. After that, he has to defend his WBC title against Agat Kabayel, who's been very patient and he's been active. Fought early, as I said earlier, in January. He has to have that fight. He has to do that fight. If he doesn't do it, then he has to vacate the title or he'll be stripped. And then he can fight one of those guys. Not a problem. They're with us. We can make these fights happen. But the most important thing he needs to focus on, he's got to defend that BC title against Kabayel.
What do you think, though, Frank? You must have a view on Usyk fighting a kickboxer.
What do I think?
Yeah.
I don't like all that stuff. I mean, I'm not a big fan of all that stuff, you know.
But from the WBC point of view, Kabayel's been sitting in the wings,
Well, I
deserves
don't
his
know
shot.
what it's wrong. It's wrong.
Yeah.
He should have been fighting Kabayel. That
Yeah,
was his
but
match.
you put Fury in with Ngannou,
Yeah, I did. But I did put him in.
so you've
Ngannou.
indulged in it.
Sorry?
You've indulged in it.
I've indulged in something where some serious money was offered for a fight.
But here's where it gets interesting. Why Rico Verhoeven specifically? Because Usyk has always been fascinated by martial arts. This isn't a random choice. The man dresses like a samurai in training. His methods are unusual. Catching coins, wall drills, vision drills. Amir Khan watched him in the gym and couldn't believe what he was seeing. He called out Alex Pereira at one point. He wanted a Mayweather-McGregor-style spectacle. Tyson Fury had his with Francis Ngannou. Joshua had his. Now Usyk wants his, and he's getting it at the Pyramids of Giza. Johnny Nelson nailed the business reality of this. Usyk is not in the same financial position as Fury or Joshua. The mega money fights aren't lining up the way they should for a man of his achievements.
But the big thing here is, when they fight in the Pyramids of Giza, the big question I've got to ask you is, would you have accepted someone from kickboxing fighting you for your world title while you were holding it, with him never having competed at that level?
Well, you've got to look at Alexander, what he's done. He's wiped the floor with everybody. He's established himself at the top there. So now you look at him and you'll think financially, will he be in a better position than Tyson Fury? No, not in my opinion. Anthony Joshua? No, not in my opinion. The big money fights aren't out there for him, so he's got to do something. He's got to put himself in a position where he's got to win, because he's proved he's top draw.
This is business. This is a champion maximizing his window while he still can. There's no shame in that. None. Teddy Atlas, one of the greatest boxing minds alive, even went further. He didn't just defend Usyk, he celebrated him. He has earned the right to be the passenger in the car for once, instead of always having to drive the car. This is a man who won Olympic gold, unified the cruiserweight titles, moved up to heavyweight as the smaller man, and fought those bigger guys in their countries. Beat Joshua, beat him again, beat Fury, unified the heavyweight title for the first time in 25 years since Lennox Lewis. 25 years. Atlas says he's thanking Usyk, thanking him for everything he's done for the sport. Now let's talk about what actually makes Usyk so dangerous, because this is where it gets really interesting. Richie Woodhall broke it down better than almost anyone. He's the best counterpuncher on the front foot that I've seen in a long time.
Most counterpunchers work off the back foot. They make you miss, then they score. Usyk does it going forward. He's coming at you, pressuring you, and still counterpunching at the same time. That is not natural. That is not something you can teach quickly. You either have years of elite technical development or you don't. His movement is circular, always. You never see him on the ropes. You never see him trapped in corners. He holds the center of the ring and rotates around his opponent. It's bull versus matador, and Usyk is always the matador. Against bigger, taller, heavier men, he's not retreating, he's moving around them. Woodhall called him 1 in a million. That's not hype, that's an assessment from someone who has been in and around the sport at the highest level for decades. Amir Khan watched Usyk up close in training camp and couldn't believe what he was seeing. Khan said, the way he moves like a lightweight, and the way he throws those punches is like water, so easy and smooth. And then Khan said something that really stuck with me. He said when he saw Usyk sparring, it looked boring, but the whole time, Usyk was still tagging you, still catching you, still slowly dismantling your confidence and your game plan. He knows how to break down any fighter. That's what makes him truly elite. Not just the skill, the psychological damage he does over rounds. Now, can Verhoeven actually do anything here? Chris Arreola, a man who has traded leather with the very best heavyweights on the planet, made a point you can't dismiss.
Chris, you have fought. Now look, it is not boxing, it's kickboxing. And I always wonder,
total difference.
at least when I was a kid, they used to have rules in kickboxing where if you didn't throw, I want to say 5 kicks around, they deduct a point. Which makes me think if it was an advantage to kick in that scenario, you wouldn't have to incentivize people to kick. Obviously, they felt it wasn't in some way, right? So it's not exactly boxing. On the other hand, and this is at the highest level, he is a long-reigning dominant champion. You fought at the highest level in the heavyweight division, Chris. What are your thoughts about this?
First of all, you can't teach size. You can't teach 6'5", 270. You can't teach that, all right? Second of all, whether it's kickboxing or boxing, he still has a pedigree of fighting. He knows what it's like to get hit. And those kicks ain't no joke. I'd rather get punched than kicked.
Right.
So he must have a good chin or good body work. So I'm looking forward just to see what Usyk could do against a lesser opponent. He probably should end up within 2 to 3.
And he's right. Rico has a pedigree of getting hit and hitting back. He's been dropped before and kept fighting with his face torn up. You don't reign for 10 years in any discipline without a champion's heart. Max Kellerman pointed out the historical precedent. Vitaly Klitschko started in kickboxing. Dillian Whyte started in kickboxing. Gerald Miller, Chris Algieri, Caleb Plant, Troy Dorsey, all kickboxers who made the transition. It's not impossible. The crossover has worked before. But here's the cold truth. The biggest technical gap isn't power. It isn't even hand speed. It's defense. Fighters from other disciplines tend to carry their chin higher. They don't move their head the same way. They don't tuck and roll like a trained boxer instinctively does. And against Usyk, who finds every gap, who punishes every mistake, that chin being an inch too high is the difference between a competitive fight and an early night.
With their hands, it's not the striking skill so much as the defense. Their chin usually stays up a little higher in the air, and I don't know if that's because they have other things that they need to do, and so they need that posture. I don't know. And they keep their head on line. It's on. They don't move their head the same way. They don't tuck the chin the same way.
And everything
Oleksandr Usyk.
Tucking that chin, that matters. Bite down that fucking mouth because.
See, there you go, 1. I said 3. You got 2 more.
Keep counting, 1.
Tyson Fury, who knows Usyk better than almost anyone, gave an honest assessment. He acknowledged Verhoeven's size and power. He noted that Usyk has faced big right-hand punchers before, Joshua, Dubois, and then he said something significant. He's only had 24 professional fights. He doesn't have a lot of mileage on the clock. At 39, Usyk still has gas in the tank. Fury thinks he'll be all right, and if Tyson Fury is telling you not to worry after fighting the man twice, maybe listen. The one genuine controversy here, and it's legitimate, is the WBC title being on the line. Frank Warren himself admitted he's not a fan. Gareth Davies called it a compromise of the belt's integrity. That WBC title has been held by Sonny Liston, Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, George Foreman, Lennox Lewis, Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury. Putting it on the line against a man in his second professional boxing match is a different conversation entirely. The sanctioning bodies keep making decisions like this, and the fans keep noticing. But the fight is made. It's happening. May 23rd, the Pyramids of Giza. Usyk says it's a real fight. He's training like it's a real fight. And if you know anything about this man, that should tell you exactly how this ends. So here's the question I want you to answer in the comments. Is this the greatest spectacle boxing has ever produced, or is it the moment the sport finally jumped the shark? Drop it below.